I challenged myself to one of my hardest custom agent designs yet. Can I take Meccha Chameleon and turn it into a Valorant agent? To add an extra challenge, I did it in 30 minutes. It wasn't easy, but for the source material I had, it's not horrid. I ended up making a really unique sentinel that has a sound mine, can make still clones of allies, goes invisible, and has the cheapest ult in the game. But it's weak?
I'm not gonna lie. How is this useful?
The general community would just immediately write this kind of agent off.
So how does an agent that sounds so strong actually be incredibly weak? First, we'll start with the source material itself. If you haven't heard of Meccha Chameleon, let me catch you up to speed. It's a multiplayer game all about hide and seek with paint. There's a couple different modes, but it all boils down to this. As a hider, you have to paint yourself to match the surroundings, and you can also whistle if you feel confident, which tells the hunters roughly where you are. As a hunter, you have to find everyone by shooting them before the timer is up. Now, Valorant is a tactical shooter, and while stealth is a part of the equation, I know for a fact that if I'm pushing sight, die, and see my teammate on the other side of the map cosplaying Van Gogh painting themselves mid-round, I'm gonna get chat banned faster than Usain Bolt can run. In Valorant as well, you need to keep on moving, otherwise you're surrendering map space for free. So the core mechanic of standing still and painting has to change. Starting off with the Q ability, the first thing I looked at is the whistle. While calling attention to yourself is a terrible idea in Valorant, I decided to make it an info gathering based ability where you place down a mine and have it whistle whenever enemies get inside it. This keeps the source material intact without painting a giant target on where you are, and I also got into a line of thinking with info sentinels and wanted to make a reusable cipher in a sense. I really do like info-based sentinels, and while cipher has really strong util, it's very easy to destroy. So I wanted to make some kind of cipher util, but have it be weaker and activate multiple times in a round. Q ended up being the sound mine. Whenever enemies step inside, it activates, making a whistle sound and going on cooldown. While on cooldown, it makes no noise no matter how many enemies enter the range. It also makes no sound when enemies exit the range as well. Initially, any enemy unit that could move would trigger it, but I decided to change it to make Euroclone the only non-agent thing that could trip it because Riot nerfed him enough. Next up is the C. This one was also really tough because Meccha Chameleon is a super simple game from both perspectives, so there isn't a lot of source material to go off of. That being said, I did end up finding a good way to make something brand new, but still feel true to the source material. I ended up making a still Euroclone-like ability where you target an ally you can see and paint a 1 health clone of them that perfectly mimics whatever they're doing, their position, and what they're holding when the ability is used.
Having a stationary clone hold an angle could be like pretty interesting for like mind games. That's a pretty defense-sided ability. I also think this is this ability, the E here, the price per charge should be lowered to like 150.
Honestly, in hindsight, it's a cool ability, but it sucks. The core of the Sentinel is to gather information, and while this could do a good job of that by baiting shots, the fact that you don't know when it's destroyed really makes it hard to get any info. If I could go back and change it, I would make it ping where it got shot from after a delay. Next up is the signature. This one was by far the hardest and still kind of breaks one of the rules we set up earlier, but over the next 2 seconds, you pull out your knife and blend into the terrain around you. The ability is most like Meccha Chameleon because your job is to paint like the background, though unlike the actual game, you don't paint anything and it's over 2 seconds. While blended, you can't pull out your gun and you essentially become a living cipher cam. The reason why this breaks one of the rules from before is you're standing still giving up map space. That being said, it's a far better solution to add in the blending game loop from the source material. Another thing to be said is the agent is generally going to be anchoring or flank wash, and in both cases, it's semi-acceptable to stand still in one place and wait on util to trigger.
What?
That's busted. You're basically a ward, but still, that's crazy.
It's a pretty interesting signature. So it seems like this Sentinel, if it's very cipher coded, obviously like this signature would introduce almost true invisibility to the game. I think it's cool. But obviously like this is a pretty high skill cap kind of utility.
Finally, we've got the ulti. This one was also pretty difficult because at first I genuinely wasn't sure what to focus on because I thought I had run out of source material. Thankfully, I thought of painting, and sticking with the theme of info gathering, I decided to make a nade that explodes, leaving paint splatters based on the agent's hit. Any agent hit takes some damage and leaves a paint trail based on their agent for a couple seconds. This ult is straight buns when compared to a lot of the other powerhouses in the game, so I really had to curb the cost and eventually decided to make it a 5-point ulti. So even if it blows, it's far more active than any other ult in the game. With the paint splatters, it tells you if any agents were in the area you naded, and with the paint trails, it tells you who rotated and where, or forces them to rotate slowly. And while this is cool, the players weren't as impressed.
5? This might seem funny. I'm not gonna lie. How is this useful?
This is interesting because so it does chip damage, which, you know, that's good. That's good. Which means that you can break Sentinel utility with it. I don't know. This salt kind of seems like not that great.
In hindsight, hindsight, I could totally agree with them. This thing blows, especially for 5 points. Now, if this created paint trails that stayed on your minimap for a while so you could actively see and keep track of where the paint trails were made and who made them, then it could be a bit better. But regardless, that's my custom agent. So could we put Meccha Chameleon into Valorant? Yes. Is it something completely broken like Prime Chamber? Thankfully not. But could it use a touch-up to feel a bit stronger? Absolutely.
You know what? I give it like a solid 7.5 out of 10 as an agent. Useful for Swift play games it's an insta pick for Swift play games.
My blind reaction to it is like, this is a pretty interesting sentinel.
Let me know in the comments what you change or buff about the agent, and let me know who or what you want me to put into Valorant next.